Welcome to Ghost Getter, a show about ghosts, and when we find one, we get it. Before we tell you about this week's location, let's reintroduce you to our teams of paranormal experts. Duck Washington is a freelance Elvis impersonator who has been investigating paranormal activity in Graceland since his 12th birthday.
Elvis is dead. I've talked to him, but he's all right with it.
Tim Duran is a Matchbox car repairman. Ever since he picked up a hitchhiker in his tiny little Mazda, he has been searching for evidence of life after death.
It was a night just like tonight.
Tim Wick has believed in ghosts ever since his parents were unable to explain the grunting and moaning noises.
What else could it have been?
Wendy Bowlesby plays roller derby with the North Star Roller Girls, and she encourages you to come out and walk about.
What was that about ghosts?
This week, our team will be exploring the Velasco Hotel on Elm Street in Castle Rock, Maine.
During the construction of the hotel, the construction company was cited 7 awards for safety. Not a single person was injured.
That just doesn't seem possible.
And even though it was built on the site of a pet cemetery, each body was reinterred with a Vatican-sanctioned priest doing the rites.
Like that's gonna satisfy Mittens.
Over the course of the life of the hotel, not a single guest has died, although many have perished later. Clearly, evil spirits hold sway over this place. We talked to some employees of the hotel.
So, can you tell us about any paranormal experiences you've had while you worked here?
No, we've never had a single guest report anything of the kind.
Well, you would have to say that to ensure you don't lose business, right?
No, we actually wish we had some of that kind of thing. Haunted hotels get all kinds of business.
Can you tell us where the majority of the paranormal activity takes place?
I don't know how to answer that.
Did you hear that? He's too afraid to say.
Yeah. What's behind that door?
Nobody goes in there.
Why not?
I don't know. I've just never seen anybody go in there.
It was clear they were all too terrified to talk. If we were going to get to the bottom of this complete lack of paranormal activity, we were going to have to lock ourselves inside, alone.
We have guests.
Mostly alone.
What we're going to do is we're going to put a camera right up here with an infrared lens on it so we get complete coverage of this entire room. And then what we're going to do over here...
Hey, what is that thing you're holding?
Oh, it's a CQ-25 ghost detection unit.
What does it do?
It detects ghosts.
Yeah, but how?
Well, when a ghost comes nearby, this little light lights up, and it makes a noise like wee-oo, wee-oo, wee-oo.
I always thought it was more like beep, 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 beep.
Well, have you ever heard it?
No.
Do you know how it works?
Yeah, it measures psychic ectoplasmic vibrations off the astral plane.
What?
Look, I'm not an engineer, so back off, all right?
Having determined our setup, it was time to lock ourselves inside.
We can't lock you in here. The fire marshal would shut us down.
It was time to remain inside of our own free will.
So, why are we using night vision when all the lights are still on?
You can't see ghosts if you use normal vision. Duh! Our teams went to 2 separate parts of the hotel to investigate. Do you hear that?
Yeah, it sounds like kids screaming.
What is that noise?
Oh, that is just creepy.
Hold on. I think I hear something behind this door.
What is it? What do you hear? What do you hear?
Oh my God, it sounds like Charlie Sheen giving another interview.
What was it? Did you see that?
What was that? What was that?
We're in over our heads. Did you see anything back there?
Oh, no, dear. I was just getting a bucket of ice.
Did it feel cold?
Oh, yes, dear. It's ice.
Oh,
We're all gonna die out here. Okay.
Well, that was great. Hey, do you want room service?
No, I'm good.
and this is room 237. That's what the security guard said. No one ever goes in there. Let's find out why.
Why don't you come with us?
The bad girl will come out of the TV.
There's a bad girl on the TV? Oh no. Well, what were you doing in there?
I was trying to stop the bad
Oh, you saw it through the static on the TV? I think that's the owl you're saying.
You know what? We've dealt with this before. We'll go back in there. We'll take care of it.
We'll take care of it.
So lovely.
Oh my God, did you guys see that?
See what?
There was a girl crawling out of the TV and then Ghostbusters and you guys didn't see any of that?
Jerry, you're the camera guy. You're not supposed to talk.
I think someone's got too much wacky tobacco before he comes to work.
So, you know what I was thinking? Well, you know we're all alone in this hotel. You got a camera with a night vision lens.
Oh, don't even go there.
Why? I mean, come on.
Am I invisible?
Don't ruin this for me, Jerry.
Oh, what? I think you took it all wrong.
Can we just find the other guys?
You know what? I kind of like it better when we were alone.
Alone? What the hell?
Me too.
It's coming from around the corner. What do we do? What do we do?
Don't worry. I have a plan. We need to get right up to the corner.
Hey, I'm ready. What do we do now?
Just follow my lead. 1, 2, 3. Get up!
Guys, what the?
That was your plan? But
You hear that? Point the camera down there.
Listen closely to the audio. You can hear a woman crying faintly in the distance. Get out! Get out!
When they returned hours later, the girl was gone. The only thing they found was a bucket of blood splashed across the windshield and a bloody spatula on the front seat. And even though they searched the countryside, they never found the killer. Some say he's still out there. And you know what I say? I say they're right! Okay.
What room is this?
The Beetlejuice Communication Center.
Beetlejuice Communication Center.
Yeah, the Beetlejuice.
Look at that! Oh my god! It's a free floating vapor!
No, there's feet boogie on the bottom.
Oh my god, it's a walking vapor then! Do you know what this means?
We have proof that ghosts exist.
Yeah! What do we do now?
We should call somebody.
Who are you gonna call? Who are you gonna call?
I have a plan.
Go talk to it! Talk to it? I don't want to talk to it! Come on, look! Ghost or no ghost, my people have bad experiences with guys in sheets. Let's get them, guys! Alright, let's see who this ghost really is. It's Jerry, our cameraman.
And I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for you meddling kids.
Wait, if you're here, who's running the...
Of yesterday's visions of tomorrow. We have in store for you what will feel like a 4-day extravaganza, but opening ceremonies is only supposed to run about an hour. And we're already about 10 minutes in, so really, we're making progress. With that said, I would like to introduce someone who has been a very big part of my life for a long time, someone I feel very privileged to consider a close and personal friend. Ladies and gentlemen, the mascot of Convergence, Connie.
Oh, Chris, come back.
Yes, Connie, yes.
Check this out. High five. Yeah. Well, hello, everyone. I'm Connie, and I'll be your robot mascot for this weekend. I've missed you guys. I know. Okay, now for some reason, the Convergence folks thought that I'd be the perfect person to talk to you about technology. Go fig. Okay, so our convention television station, CVG TV, returns this year and is being broadcast in Sheraton rooms on Channel 5. On CVG TV, you can watch convention videos, highlights from the past year's conventions, and some live main stage events like masquerade, opening and closing ceremonies. Why, hello up there, CVG TV downloaders, yay! As in previous years, you can view convention schedule online at schedule.convergence-con.org. And this year, there's free internet access in all the Sheraton sleeping rooms. Yay! The Theater Nippon Anime Room and Gaming both have schedule information online that didn't make the press deadline for the printed programming guide, so check it out. Now, if you are a droid, oh, sorry, that says if you have a droid. I thought we were talking about me for a second there. Okay, now if you have a droid, BlackBerry, or iPhone, the online schedule has been optimized for your smartphone. Awesome, I know. Now, if your phone can recognize the QR codes, just grab the URL from one of these babies, which you'll see on flyers around the con, and zap, you've got the convention schedule on your phone. Now, speaking of QR codes, the convention survey is also online this year, and you'll find QR codes around the con, making it easier to find. We'd love for you to spend a few minutes letting us know your favorite things about Convergence. Aside from me, that is. But what we can improve and what social media we can use so we know the best ways to reach out to you. And speaking of social media, because I am the robot queen of the Segway, friend me on Facebook. I'm there all the time, talking about Convergence with my closest friends and several hundred people who send me friend requests that I don't know. But hey, you can become one of those two very important groups. You can also follow @ConvergenceCon on Twitter. Remember that the Convergence 2011 hashtag is CVG2011. But now it's time to let the humans talk to you again. Here to introduce the winners of this year's Mark Time Awards is Jerry Stearns.
Good evening. Welcome to Convergence. This year is the 14th Annual Mark Time Awards for Science Fiction Audio Theater and the Charles Ogle Awards for Fantasy and Horror Audio Theater. This year was remarkable in many ways. We had more entries than any previous year, and from a wider range of countries, including Australia, South Africa, Ireland, Belgium, and Canada. The 5 judges each listened to 32.5 hours of audio plays, the longest of them being 7 hours, and the shortest, one of the winners, is 15 minutes. We have several of our winners here with us tonight. So let's begin with them. First, some honorable mentions among the Ogle Awards. We'll begin with Soul Survivor, written and produced by Jack Ward from Halifax, Nova Scotia. I hear Jack is on his way from... I'm here. Come on!
Well, then we should get started. Yes. On this auspicious occasion of free will, the laws of soul acclamation are in effect. I, as the agent of our Father in heaven, am sent to provide guidance for said soul onto the path of righteousness and everlasting life. Whereas you, agent of he who has fallen, are contractually obliged to provide temptation, seduction, and the like to offer dissension from the path into wickedness and everlasting pain.
You memorized that?
You did not.
All 287 verses from The Guide to Soul Protection and Angel's Companion for the Mortal World?
Let's see, second honorable mention in the Ogle Awards, The Witch Hunter Chronicles, written and produced by Domine de Groot from Antwerp, Belgium.
Where very few others ever went. I had succeeded in finding and destroying a renegade necromancer who proved to be only a minor trespasser in years. I returned to the last inn outside of the city and considered exploring more of the forests now that I had the chance. But then I received a message bearing a terrible warning, and so I returned and found the city to be in flames.
Winners deserve honorable mention. First is Brad Lansky and the Anti-Stark, written by J.D. Venn and produced by Dieter Zimmerman of Cape Town, South Africa.
We're naming it Anti-Stark.
It will be assigned a name as per standard Gaia rules of taxonomy.
Come on, there's nothing standard about it.
Welcome back, Mama. We're very excited to hear what happened.
I am exhausted. I have never had my matter shell removed before. Large volumes of sensory input data were painful.
Peter Zimmerman determined that he could not make yet another out-of-country trip, so he couldn't be here. Next is 1918, written by Richard Lovejoy, directed by Samantha Mason, and produced by Matthew Boudreau of Buffalo, New York.
So the second org back at headquarters. Your father was researching them. They responded to his voice as well.
No others. Certain vocal qualities are inherited within families.
The German war effort has been greatly assisted by the clever use of the devices they found on the UFOs. They're winning this war. Based on your father's studies of these orbs that we think we may have found our ace in the hole, you must be exploding with questions.
Now will you come with us?
I will. They should both know I'm armed. I've been a crack shot since I was 10, so this better be real.
Now, the Silver Ogle Award goes to We're Alive, Chapter 17, written and produced by Casey Whalen and Shane Salk of Orange, California.
All the way out here? Well, I guess it could be.
Riley shot him in the eye, remember?
Nope, it has a left eye and a right. It's not our guy.
Oh my God! Angel, move! Open wide!
It may have been 9, but now it's dead.
A gunshot. You fall over here.
Wait, maybe we didn't.
A Silver Mark Time Award goes to The Cleansed, written and produced by Fred Greenhalgh of Alfred, Maine.
He's a bad man.
Who?
The man who has to be in charge.
Oh, hell, I don't know him that well. What makes him bad?
He killed Luke's daddy. He shot him dead.
Oh, hey, does that radio still work?
Maybe.
Turn it on. I want to see how our fearless leader is doing.
Okay.
That is the doctrine of the individual. The individual whose primary duty is to protect one's own interests, to buck the desires of the state in all things, and to ensure the sovereign right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It sounds like the state has returned to take back what they think is theirs.
Now, the Gold Ogle Award for Best Fantasy Audio Theater goes to Whoever Wishes, written and produced by Kyan Chris Conroy of Minneapolis, Minnesota.
The quintessential desert island. White sand and palms, and very little else, and no visible means of support in the middle of a vast void of an ocean. Now that's proof that there was another hand in this. I can't imagine what scenario could possibly compel me to put an ocean with a small desert island in the middle of it, right in my own home.
And the Gold Mark Time Award for Science Fiction Audio goes to The Truth, Moon Graffiti, written and produced by Jonathan Mitchell of New York, New York. thanks go to Convergence for this opportunity to showcase the award winners, to bring them to you. Thanks to the Geek Partnership Society for sponsoring the awards, and to the 5 judges for the generous donation of their time and their ears of experience. Please be sure to stop by Harmonic Convergence during the convention. Each day when they open, they will be playing one of the Mark Time and Ogle Award winners, the best in science fiction and fantasy audio theater. Thank you.
Before we get into any further announcements of all the great stuff we have in mind for you this year, we have a little bit of unfinished business from last year. Yeah. For those of you who are here, you may remember that last year's Convergence was the year of the villain, and Connie's sister, Connie Mark II, tried to take over Convergence. And yeah, the world, I suppose that's important, but mostly Convergence. She caused a lot of trouble, and, well, some of us have the scars to prove it. Well, somebody's here, and she'd like to say something. Mark II?
Hi.
Well, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Sorry for what?
I'm sorry I tried to take over Convergence.
And?
And I'm sorry I sent Connie into the Phantom Zone. And I'm sorry I killed the Bad Horse Singers. And I'm sorry I tried to sell out Convergence to a bunch of supervillains for my own personal gain.
And?
What?
And?
Oh. And I'm sorry I had you beaten up.
How very sincere of you. So, to show how sorry you are, please tell these fine people what you'll be doing this year.
I'm the new promotional mascot for ConSuite. I'll be acting as a special consultant for sci-fi fandom consumables. I'm working in food service.
Well, at least you're contributing to the convention. You know, that's what's important.
My programming has been reset, and I'm really much better now. I've learned my lesson, and I'll never do it again.
Promise.
Cross my fingers.
Excuse me?
I mean heart. Cross my heart.
Uh-huh, okay. Well, thank you, Mark II. Apology accepted. And, yeah, have a good con. Thank you, everybody.
Like I have a heart.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jody Worrell, and I'm head of guest relations for Convergence, and I have the privilege of introducing you to some very special visitors. I'd like to introduce our 2011 guest of honors. The first is Jason Carter. He's a British actor best known for his role as the Ranger Marcus Cole on Babylon 5, and has appeared in numerous other television shows and films. He also records audiobooks, so anyone who finds British accents fascinating can listen to him anytime. He's also working with another guest of honor of ours named Edward Douglas, whose film The Dead Matter is going to be showing in Cinema Rex this weekend. He is a composer and filmmaker, best known for his work with the Gothic music group Midnight Syndicate, creators of Soundtracks to the Imagination, a series of bands. He's also a filmmaker, and as I mentioned earlier, his film The Dead Matter is showing in Cinema Rex at Friday at 6 p.m. So check it out. You can hear his music and see his storytelling at work. I come to Brian Keene now. The Stoker Award-winning author, and obviously a fan favorite, is a returning guest of honor in what promises to be a great sequel to his previous 2 visits. We'll disregard the fact that it's an odd number. He brings great panels, a taste for good beer, and a genuine love of his work to our panels. And he's very fun to talk to, so say hi to him when you see him in the hallway. Now we have Shauna McGuire. This award-winning fantasy author, known for her character October Day, also writes as New York Times best-selling author Myra Grant. Her novel Feed is up for numerous awards, even as we speak. And you'll want her on your side in case there's a zombie apocalypse, because she'll provide an amazing scientific analysis of your odds. As a librarian, I'm particularly fond of this next guest, because she's not just a librarian, she's an archivist, Lynn Thomas. And she works with special collections at Northern Illinois University, where she's building an amazing depository of the writings of science fiction and fantasy authors. She's also one of the editors and essayists in the Hugo-nominated Chicks Dig Time Boards, and also co-edited a new collection of essays called Whedonistas. So be sure to squee with her when you see her in the halls. And now we come to Anthony Tolan, who is originally one of our own. He actually worked the registration desk at the first Minnesota Science Fiction Convention, which took place in 1968, and was a guest at the first local comic convention once he was a professional colorist with DC Comics, and that was back in 1973. He's worked on the Green Lantern, Batman, the New Teen Titans, and numerous other DC works as a colorist. He's also a broadcasting historian and author who especially loves the Shadow and Doc Savage stories, and he's been reprinting the pulps as a personal passion of his. He's now up to about 100 titles for each series. Catherine Valente writes gorgeous prose and has won the Tiptree, Andre Norton, and Mythopoeic Awards, among many others, for her work. She may have coined the term myth punk as a joke to describe it, but if you believe that punk means edgy, rule-breaking, and compelling, I believe she accurately describes her work. Brian Van Camp is a theatrically trained actor who splits his time between stage and film works, and is known for his work in independent and studio films in Europe. He came back to the United States to work with Ed Douglas on The Dead Matter, and now he's writing, directing, and producing independent films himself. Watch him play Mark Pym when you view the film in Cinema Rex. And our last but not least guest of honor for 2011 is Greg Weisman. He's a comic book writer, as well as an animation writer and producer, best known for his work with Gargoyles and The Spectacular Spider-Man. His work in animation is varied and always excellent. It's his third visit to Convergence, and once again he brings wit and heart to all of his panels. So check them out. You'll run into some other great people when you're here at Convergence. You're going to want to look for some of our former guests of honor who just come here because they love it. We have author Eleanor Arneson, artist Denise Garner, scientist Jim Kakalios, filmmaker Troy LaFay, and author Kelly McCullough. And also look for teen filmmaker Emily Higgins, whose film My Sucky Teen Romance comes straight to us from South by Southwest Film Festival. And we'll be showing of it at Cinema Rex, 3 p.m. on Saturday. It's definitely the antidote for the sparkly vampires. It happens to be set at a convention much like Convergence, where the B-roll was shot. and it features 4 teens who are desperately trying to protect their friend from a predatory bloodsucker. We also have a number of attending pros who are coming to the convention. There's a handful that I especially wanted to point out this year. Anya Bast, who's an author, Bill Corbett and Kevin Murphy of RiffTrax, the Ghost Hunter Griffith, Scott Lynch, the author, Tara O'Shea, the author, Joseph Scrimshaw, a local playwright, Daniel Wallace, a local author, and Rebecca Watson, a skeptic. And now I have to read a letter from programming. The programming department worked long and hard to ensure the programming guide was accurate and up to date. They, of course, failed. As a result, they would like to make you aware of some important changes. First, due to a family death, the Friday 2 p.m. panel, The Curse of Paranormal Pop Culture, has been canceled. But it has been replaced with Doctor Who, the Doctor's Wife Bibliography, a presentation by Stephen Manfred, who acted as a consultant to Neil Gaiman on the recent Doctor Who episode, The Doctor's Wife. Again, this will take place Friday at 2 p.m. in Atrium 6. Second, guest of honor Catherine Valenti will be sponsoring a Reader's Theatre presentation of the Dylan Thomas play, Under Milkwood, in the Literary Lounge on the 22nd floor, Friday night at 11:30 p.m. Third, the panel, So You Want to Be an Actor, with Brian Van Camp, is listed as 5 p.m. Thursday under guest of honor appearances, but at 10 p.m. everywhere else, and actually it's everywhere else that's accurate. It is on Friday at 10 p.m. There have been several other additions and removals of panelists that unfortunately took place after the programming guide was sent to the printer. If you are very excited to see a particular panelist, or conversely, desperate to avoid another one, the most current information is available online. So thank you for your patience and enjoy the convention. Thus ends the programming guide. Finally, I wanted to note that the signing table has moved locations. It used to be across from the Edina Bloomington room here on the second floor, but it is now in the main lobby of the hotel between the two towers. And now I need to share some sad news with you. First, Leslie Banks, a guest of honor last year, author of the Vampire Huntress series, among many other books. This beautiful person, inside and out, has been diagnosed with last-stage adrenal cancer. So please keep her in your thoughts and your hearts. And cancer is expensive, so if you feel like you can contribute to her care, please go to her website where there's a link to a donations page. And finally, I have to acknowledge a loss to our community. In February, Dwayne McDuffie died. He was a comics creator who will be remembered for the many works that he brought and all the work that he did to bring people of color into comics as both characters and as creators. He brought a great sense of humor and play to all that he did, and this is the way that Convergence chooses to remember him as well. We do have footage of his visit to Convergence on our CDG television YouTube channel, so please Google it if you'd like to hear him in his own words. And thank you from Guests of Honor and Programming.
I'm Ishmael Williams. Director of Hospitality and Member Experience. Fellow guests. Look at the person next to you. Now look at me. Now back to them. Now back to me. Sadly, they're not me. But they could smell like me if they've used this in the shower. Seriously. Because, damn. Look down. Now look at the screen behind me. This is masking tape. has spawned the movement of the one true tape. Look at my hand. What's this? It's a $10 bill. I use it to tip the housekeeper because she's not my mother. Look down. Now look up. You're in the Sheraton with me. The man the person next to you could smell like. We love this building. We have shuttles to other buildings that we're learning to love. And we don't break any of those buildings. I'm leaving the stage.
Marina Yoder. I am your steering committee executive in charge of finance and revenue. I'm here to tell you about some exciting merchandise you can purchase at our merchandise kiosk at the end of Convergence Central. Speaking of alter egos, you may know Steve Rogers by another name. That name would be Connie. She appears in all her patriotic glory on our @Con t-shirt, available in women's small through extra large and unisex small through 6X. Connie has also been getting into the spirit of our celebration of yesterday's visions of the future on our retro baby doll. Available in women's small through extra large. And if the cold outside is getting you down, you can fight it in style with Connie's help in her Ornithopter zip hoodie, available in small through 3XL. This thing is amazing. If there's any left, small through 3XL. They have been going really fast, so you're probably out of luck already. Because they're so cool. We also have shirts from many of your favorite Convergence destinations, like Theater de Pont, available in youth, small through extra large, and unisex, small through 2XL.
I never get tired of looking at myself.
And if you haven't seen us since last year, you may have missed Connie sitting in for Maria in Metropolis. We still have limited numbers of our mid-year shirts available, so get there early, again, merch at the end of Convergence Central. And if you have enough t-shirts to last a lifetime, I don't know about you guys, but I've got a couple. You can check out some other exciting things at merchandise that include coins, buttons, and the ever-handy lanyard. I am also personally delighted to introduce a new item by popular demand of half the convention for the other half. This is a totally 100% non-collectible item. So, now remember, kids, this soap should not stay in mint in-box condition. It actually declines in value at that point, and we would like you to remember to shower. Seriously. Dan.
Yeah, 'cause I can smell you guys, and I don't have a nose.
In other good news, merch will be accepting credit cards this year. Yay! For no fee. Yay! We will take Visa, MasterCard, and Discover. And we will also be an additional provider of delicious merchandise for our featured performers here on main stage, Paul and Storm. And we also have tons of other cool stuff from the likes of people like Vilification Tennis. So go to merchandise and check out what we've got. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Laura. I'm the Director of Communications. I'm here to talk about volunteers. Speaking of cool t-shirts, I just picked up my volunteer t-shirt, and it's awesome. You just have to work 15 hours to get it. It features Connie with some of her robot friends. In addition to the t-shirt, we're doing a new program this year called Connie Points, where every hour you volunteer is worth 1 point. And then you can turn those points in for prizes. Some of those prizes include, let's see, an LED torch, a badge holder, a USB drive, plus a ton of other stuff. So go check it out at the volunteer table. Some things that we're looking for help this year. Badgers. We're always looking for badgers. And this is what our patch looks like this year. So if you do any of that badging volunteering, you'll get a patch. This year we're asking that you have to be 12 years of age or older. And if you're under 18, to please volunteer with a parent or guardian on your badging shift. We're also looking for elevator operators. Elevator operators help our elevators run for the weekend. This is something you can get double points for, but we will not let you do multiple shifts in a row.
Hey, Laura.
Yeah?
You're doing a good job.
Thanks. You made me blush.
I wish I could blush.
So, elevator operators help us with our elevators, and they also help us follow the elevator rules. Speaking of which, let's go over those. Of course, always respect the elevator operators. Also, remember there's a maximum of 10 people on the elevator. This does not include the elevator operator. And then additionally, we're asking everyone to get on the elevators on the first floor and then get off the elevators on the second floor. If you need to go between first and second, please either use the stairs or the escalator. And we have a really easy way to remember this. Off on 2, on 1. Everyone repeat it with me. Off on 2, on 1. That was great. Let's see, a few other volunteer needs we have. We are in dire need of help for a tear down and move out after closing ceremonies. I know it's hard to talk about the end when we're just beginning, but we do need a lot of help. We are offering double points for any hours that help with those. So talk to, I think you can sign up for that volunteer table. Also, the Volunteer Den is looking for people to give massages. This is another way to get double points. Check in with the volunteer table. And speaking of the Volunteer Den, in addition to the massages, it's also a place we're offering for volunteers to relax. It's a place to play games. We're going to have food, snacks, non-soda drinks. You can find that all in room 222, which is right next to Con Suite. And all you need to get in is your volunteer button, which was showing just a minute ago. But after doing just 1 hour, you'll get your button and you have access. Any other questions you have about volunteering, please go to the volunteer table. It's just outside the door, right back there to your right. They can answer any questions. They can help schedule you for any volunteer shifts or even find out other volunteer options. And that's all I have. So have fun, everyone, and remember, volunteer early and often.
They didn't tell me there would be people out here. Hello, my name is Charles, and I'm one of them.
Solidarity!
So, is everyone enjoying a 4-day convention? Now, I'm not going to pull a Michael Sheard and say 5-day con. But how about 365 days? Oh, good. You should hear that. So here's the deal. There was this afternoon, and there was some beer. So let me tell you a story. No, it's too much. I will sum up. We got bored. And as some of you know, we're dangerous when we're bored because we're geeks, right? So we thought, what if we had this place, like a geeky sort of community center? What if we had club activities, programs, events, classes, resources for other geek organizations, and we did that all year round? It sounds crazy, it sounds like we'll lose all our free time. I'm in. So we worked with Convergence and Anime Twin Cities, the parent for Anime Detour, which most of you have heard of, I hope. Yeah! We pulled together the funding, we built the organization, and we're up and running up in Northeast Minneapolis. Okay?
first that we know of. No one's done this before, okay? This is crazy. If we succeed, we will be famous. And if we blow this up, we will be famous. How did I know you'd be on board? So, number one, www.geekpartnership.org, or remember this number, 110. We'll be in room 110 all weekend. Stop by, ask us questions, give us ideas. Your support, both by participating in our programs, funding our programs, welcome to the nonprofit world, people, and frankly, just giving us ideas. That's the energy that makes this work. That's what makes our organization work. That's what makes Convergence work, NNE Detour, MiniCon, MarsCon, all the various geek organizations going on in what is probably the geekiest city in America. So thank you for making this such a wonderful town, such a geeky place. Thank you for your energy, your madness, and your sense of fun. Now, I'm going to turn the microphone over and go find my pants.
Hello again. I'm Christopher Jones. I'm here to talk about something kind of serious. I'm here to talk about the potential danger of misusing your hotel room toiletries.
Do we have to?
Well, it's important that they... Okay, sorry. What is that?
It's some kind of electromagnetic interference. Let me see if I can track it down.
Could you? That would be very nice. Try to put on a big professional show here.
This is weird. According to the equipment here at Max Labs, that was some kind of time ripple. There's a disturbance in the time-space continuum.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Here at a science fiction convention? What are the odds?
IKR.
Hi, who are you?
I'm Connie 1000. Future utopia known as Earth Virgins.
Wait a minute, Earth Virgins? The future where the convergence way of doing things has grown and expanded until the entire world is convergence? As first seen in a video documentary showing the closing ceremonies at Convergence 2007?
Yes.
That was some nice exposition.
Hey, thank you.
Oh, wait a minute. Call me 1000? You mean you're me?
I'm a future version of you. You're my ancestor.
Oh, cool! High five!
There's no time. I'm on an important mission and I only have a few moments before I must return.
An important mission?
The glorious future of Earth Virgins is at stake. Earth Virgins is powered by Artron, and our supply is dwindling. We have searched everywhere for a new supply, and we have found one in our history books.
Hey, what's this?
Sorry, I need to use your visual interface.
Oh, okay, I guess.
Connie, you were the first sentient robot created by Professor Maxwell Misfiddle.
Right, and Connie Merck, too, was the second.
His first sentient robot. His first robot creation was this.
Are you kidding?
clear, although, actually, the invention, the news of his invention, was one of the earliest records of him.
Well, what's so important about Mimeo?
Oh, well, the professor did build his robots to last. Mimeo is powered with a microfusion reactor powered by pure Artron energy. If we can find this reactor, we can power Earth virgins for centuries.
For centuries, the power core of a single 19th century robot? How is that even possible?
There's no time to explain. We use the time probe to try to find Mimeo and track him through time. But then there was a temporal vibration and Mimeo got sucked into a time vortex and now he's lost.
So, why are you here in 2011 when you're from 1,000 years in the future looking for a robot from 100 years in the past?
Well, we needed help. And where better to look for help than at a con where the original Connie was still here before the professor went off into space.
Off into space?
Here, take this.
I want one!
What is it? This has all the details you need to find the Artron, find Mimeo, and help save Earth virgins.
Okay. That was weird.
Okay, I'm calling the professor right now.
Hello!
Daddy!
You've reached Professor Max at Max Labs.
Prof, it's Connie. This is an emergency.
Max Labs, where the future is today and tomorrow is the past.
This is a recording, isn't it?
If you'd like to learn more about how Max Labs is changing the world, press 1.
Oh, great.
If you'd like to commission Max Labs to create tomorrow's inventions today, press 2.
Wait a minute, dial 0?
For employment opportunities, press 3. If a Max Labs creation is involved in a potentially catastrophic global emergency, press 4.
4.
You have selected 4. If a robotic creation of Professor Max is trying to take over the world, press 1.
No, that would have been handy last week.
If a robotic creation from the past is needed to save a utopian future, press 2.
Dude, that one.
Well, that was oddly specific.
Hello, honey. This is Professor Max. I anticipated this call and have read specific instructions for you.
This is so Marlon Brando as Jor-El.
Many years ago, I created a robot named Mimeo that was powered by Artron energy. This proved to be an overly robust power supply for such a small machine, so I discontinued its use in my future creations. I foresaw the possibility that someday the Artron reactor core would be needed for other purposes. So, Mimeo was placed in a stasis chamber until the Artron reactor was needed elsewhere. The stasis chamber should keep Mimeo safe and sound for centuries, secure from outside disturbances short of a time probe, which would of course cause Mimeo to go spiraling off into the time vortex.
So what are we supposed to do?
I'm sure you're asking what you should do now.
He's wrong.
Hopefully, anyone who might disturb Mimeo with a time probe would have contacted you for help and would have provided their own plan of action for how to retrieve Mimeo from the time vortex.
Yes!
Exactly. Convergence was designed as a gathering to bring people together. And if we can amplify the silent imprint of convergence, Mimeo will be able to detect it from the time vortex, home in on the signal, and reappear in normal time space.
That's exactly what it says here.
communication helmets? What do we do with those?
I've included instructions with the helmets. Follow them to the letter, and I'm sure everything will be fine. Otherwise, I'll be back in the office Tuesday after the holiday. Have a good weekend.
Well, that's it. We have to find Mimeo and save Earth virgins. What do we have to do?
According to this, they're helmets to be worn by people of the highest intelligence for the best results.
Oh, good thing we're at a nerd convention.
Well, it has to be the best of the best, so he's included a intelligence test to find the brightest people here. Apparently the first 20 people to pass the test and bring in results to the operations bridge will get the helmets, and then the signal will go out and Mimeo will illuminate and appear.
Well, let's see these helmets.
All right. These look delicate.
Oh, they must be expensive. Trivia contest, and the first 20 people get silly hats to wear for the rest of con.
Basically, yeah.
And how do we contact Connie 1000 again?
Well, it says here that the next time portal is scheduled to open, Sunday, July 3rd.
Wait, let me guess. Sometime between 5 and 6 p.m. Central Time in this very room?
Yes!
Closing ceremonies. I think I see how this works.
Yeah, so, if you want one of the brainwave helmets, you...
I do.
If you want one of them and you're not a robot on the screen, go to the operations bridge, fill out get one of the forms for the questions, and when you've filled out at least 15 of them correctly, you take it back to the bridge, and the first 20 people get one of the helmets.
Very shady.
It's the pass-around game, all right? We do this every year.
Hi. I'm Ellie Younger, and I'm an exec on the steering committee and a board member-elect, and I have a few final announcements for you. The first one is, if Mr. George Barry is in the audience, could he please report to the bridge directly after opening ceremonies to take care of an urgent matter?
Yeah, you owe me money.
I also have an announcement from Convergence Gaming. Every year, they reach out to game publishers, asking them to share with us any posters or flyers they would like to display on their behalf. We don't really ask for product or merchandise, especially considering the economy right now. Even so, despite telling them that we just want posters, they send us games. Lots of games. Holy crap, did they send us games. We want to thank specifically Fantasy Flight, our local game design and distribution. We'd also like to thank Atlas Games, creators of Over the Edge, Once Upon a Time, and Lunch Money. We'd like to thank Chaosium, creators of the Call of Cthulhu RPG game, and all of these companies sent us piles of books and games. We'd also like to thank Wizards of the Coast, who supplied us with Magic the Gathering decks for 2 tournaments that are happening this weekend. So in short, these companies, while not asked, decided that you, the attendees of Convergence, deserved some of the best party, card, and role-playing games they could offer. We added them to the games library, both on the 22nd floor and the 2nd floor in Con Suite. So, Convergence Game would like to invite you to stop on by, play everything from online computer games to cards, and show, if inclined, these generous companies a little bit of love. Convergence Gaming would also like to remind you to fill out a survey and let them know what you like and what you'd like to see changed in the future. After this, we need to clear the main stage area, so we need to clear the room, but we'd like to invite you back for Mad Scientist Smackdown at 9 p.m. So, having said all that, there's a convention happening out there. We'll see you back at closing ceremonies at 5 p.m. But until then, get out there and have some fun. Goodbye, everybody!